Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the BTB Movie Club podcast. My name is Matt Smith. We hope you enjoyed today's movie discussion. Thanks for listening. So, you guys, welcome to the BTB Movie Club. We are on movie number 100 and something, 190-ish.
I was going to be impressed if you knew.
It's a life goal, Dan, is for me to actually know what fucking movie we're on when we start the show off. Maybe next week. Maybe next week.
You knew last week.
I think I did,
but I just make it up.
I looked it up at the last second, and I was too lazy to do that today. However, Brian and I were talking, and I think Brian's got himself an excellent idea. And I thought, with Matt not here, we should say it before Matt steals it, because it's all Matt does is steal Brian's ideas, and we're all fucking tired of it. We're somewhere around 190, I think. I don't know if anybody knows.
I thought 180 last week.
180. Well, I think we're well past 180. Matt, look it up. Ah, shit, he's not here. The 200th movie is coming up regardless. And Brian had a great idea that we invite everybody who's ever been a member of the Zoom club and see if we can't get everybody here. Trap, Dentino, Brandon, Malo, Jen Service. Yeah, let's just let's overload the network here.
Nice.
So that's for another time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to say, Dan, how are you doing? And while you answer that question, I'll look up what movie number it is. Dan, how you doing?
Oh, fantastic. That's a great idea, Matt. Oh, wait, Matt's not here. Oh, well, that's a great idea. So that's, so around 10 weeks or so.
Let Brian have his moment. Come on, man.
Matt texted me the idea.
See, the truth comes out.
Yep. There you go. That actually makes sense. We are on movie number 184. This is movie number 184. And it is Mystery Alaska from 1999 with a whole list of stars, but biggest among them would be Russell Crowe, Hank Azaria. Burt Reynolds plays a pretty cool role in here. Probably going to see some mixed reviews and some hockey analysis because once again, we have 2 1/4 hockey players in the group here. I have laced up skates and skated around with a stick in my hands and embarrassed myself once, but that doesn't make me a hockey player. But I've never been on a team, and that does make Brian a kind of a hockey player, and he hurt himself. So, with Matt not being here, I'll just send this off to you guys, and let's go to a hockey player to start this off to get some expert hockey analysis. Dan Sears, start the show off. I was going to call Aaron, but he doesn't like that when he has to go first. So it makes him nervous. So, Dan, how'd you feel about the movie Mystery Alaska? And is this the second time you've seen it, or multiple times that you've seen it?
Yeah, so I saw it back in 2000, 2001, a little while after it came out, and it wasn't very good back then, and it did not get better with age. So it was woof. It's a rough one.
This is going to be a scene in a minute. Carry on.
I have to commend Mike Wilden. He picked Winnie the Pooh, and he showed up and took his medicine. I feel like Matt's dodging us right now.
Holy shit.
Wow. Wow. We are calling Matt out, right?
What is happening
from
right
the
now?
saying that Mystery Alaska is as bad as poo.
Well, I don't know if I go that far, but
I think you are. I think you're going there.
Oh, this sauce has got a little extra spice in it today, people.
The fact that you gave me credit before you started that sentence just goes to show how you felt about this movie. And to be fair, I do not deserve that credit, but thank you.
I like it.
Yeah, this is it's a pretty rough watch. There's so many weird hockey things in this that that just don't really happen, like potatoes and skates. Like what the hell is that? I've never seen anybody do that. You
never played in North Dakota then, huh?
Yeah, ingenuity, man. Ingenuity.
I mean, I've skated outside plenty of times, and nobody's ever said to put potatoes in your skates, or it was never a thing. So I don't know, maybe it is in Alaska. I don't know.
Okay, I'm going to keep a list of things from Dan because this already seems a little suspect. Number 1, his big critique of the movie is potatoes in the skates. Okay. Carry on.
In the switchbacks going back and forth, they go down to the rink. That would just be extra snow that had to be shoveled if they were to do something like that. So That would never happen.
Mhm.
Skating on a river. I've never skated on a river before. You know, I've skated on ponds and lakes, but I'm pretty sure it would be pretty bumpy and not very easy to skate on.
They had a Zamboni, didn't they? I mean, I know Hank Azaria
Not on
was
the
like,
river.
Not on the river.
Yeah.
Well, they didn't have the Zamboni until they got the Rangers gig. So
Yeah,
the skating
true.
on the river was predating it.
And
Yeah.
the rink isn't on the river.
True.
Right.
Skating the river was something they did.
Yeah.
That was something
to
the
prove
other
something.
Yeah,
Yep.
the high school kid was doing. I believe it was him at the
Now-
start of the movie.
Two things as a minor pushback for you, Dan, sitting in the Matt Smith chair here. One, it's not just skating on a river, it's skating the river. So clearly there's something special about that river. And two, if you've never skated on a river, then clearly you don't know.
I have walked on rivers though that were
Oh,
iced
you're an
over,
expert. Okay.
and they're not, not like rinks where you can easily skate on them.
Mhm.
Other strange things like skating in town, that there's a bunch of ice and everybody's skating around the town. That maybe, I don't know, maybe that's a thing in Alaska, but it would seem like a very difficult maintenance thing to keep ice throughout the town when it's snowing probably every day. And there would be a lot of people in Canada and Russia that would dispute the roots of hockey in Alaska that they claimed at the beginning of the movie.
Historical perspective. I like this. Sports history.
Yeah. But, from Russell Crowe's perspective, all of us have had to, well, not all of us, I guess, but several of us have had to go into the over 40 or over 50 league. You get bumped out of the lower leagues and pushed into the older leagues. That's just life. That's what happens.
Sounds a little personal.
So, well, actually, one of the leagues I'm in is over 40, and the other league I was in is an open. And there's a lot of younger guys, which unfortunately, 10 years ago, I was just as fast as them, but not anymore. This is going out to all you guys in your early 50s. Your time of reckoning is coming soon, because once you hit 50, it goes downhill pretty quick.
Brian and I completely disagree with you. We're fine.
That's what I said too in my early 50s. I'm fine. I can keep up with everybody else still.
If we had an entire bottle of Advil in the house, we would have taken the whole thing after golfing yesterday.
What'd you do? 36?
No.
Just
45?
No.
Should I go the other direction?
Carry on, Dan. Carry on. Something about Mystery Alaska. You're talking about potatoes or something?
But yeah, another weird thing, he's putting his equipment into a cardboard box after they kicked him off the Saturday skate. It's like, there's no cardboard boxes in hockey. I mean, I think maybe the director was going for
baseball.
Yeah, maybe the director was going for when people get fired from jobs, they go to their desk and put all their shit in the box and leave. Maybe that's what he was kind of trying to go there.
Yeah, it seemed thematic, right? It seemed thematic. You got fired and you got to put your shit in a box and get out.
Yep. I thought they missed a good opportunity for a joke when the old lady in the meeting stands up and starts ripping Hank Azaria, and she says, you're just a prick. And I would have loved it if Hank would have said, "Don't say that shit about me, Mom." But because he was from the city, so that could have been his mom. But oh man, I guess I don't want to take up everything here. I guess the movie itself, I thought it was strange, the lawyer going to New York City to plead his case, and then he has a heart attack. And was that supposed to get like some sympathy to get the game in Alaska? That was kind of weird. There were several appearances, like Little Richard had a small appearance. Mike Myers had a little small appearance in the movie. Their roles were really reduced. I guess that's Mike Myers is from Canada, so maybe that's why they threw him in here. But his character,
the director of the movie was the director of the Austin Powers movies.
Oh, was he? Okay.
So there's a connection that probably brought in that cameo.
Right. Okay. If you guys don't know Don Cherry, Mike Myers' character was very Don Cherry-esque.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Oh man, he did have a funny line there when he said, "It ain't rocket surgery," when he was describing the game. There's just so many weird things in this movie. I felt there was several characters kind of wasted. Burt Reynolds, I thought, should have had a bigger role in the movie. His character was, didn't have a whole lot going on.
I agree with that, Dan. I think he was an interesting looking character, and we all know his chops as an actor. I think he was underused.
Yeah.
I think I agree with you that he was underused in that role.
During the game, you would never platoon back and forth between the bench and the locker room to stay warm. That's not a thing. It just makes it worse, actually. You get warm, and then you come back out to the cold rink, and then you go back in, you get warm again. You just stay outside. You just freeze. You just get used to the cold after a while. That's been my experience anyway with cold rinks. Like when I was Little League, we'd have a 6 a.m. practice. You just get out there and you just skated. You'd do skating drills right away, and you'd warm up, and you'd be fine. Especially an NHL team, they'd look like a bunch of pussies going back and forth from the locker room to the bench. And the other thing, Mystery Alaska team would absolutely have no chance of beating the Rangers. They would get crushed. It probably would have been like 25-0.
Right.
So a lot of Hollywood fantasy in this movie. There was some decent acting. I think a lot of these guys were probably cast because they could skate, not necessarily for their acting ability.
Question number 1, can you skate? Yes. Okay, good. Question number 2, can you deliver a line? No, doesn't matter. We'll take you.
Yeah. Can you talk? Yeah. But I guess I won't take up everything. I got other things I wrote down that were just weird about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Matt Smith, wherever you are, I know you picked this blind, but still bad pick. All
right. Bad pick. For those of you keeping score, I will read you we'll call it the nitpicking out of the gate here from Dan. He's got 10 reasons that he did not care for this movie. 1, potatoes in the skates. 2, switchbacks, which would create too much snow, obviously. 3, skating on a river. 4, skating in town. 5, the roots of hockey being in Alaska. 6, there's no cardboard in hockey. 7, the old lady should have been his mom. 8, the lawyer dying in New York was a little overdone. Number 9, platooning to the locker room would never happen. And number 10, Mystery Alaska beating an NHL team is just ridiculous. Those are Dan's nitpicking out of the gate starting points for today. But you're okay with the guy shooting somebody and not going to jail.
Well, I got plenty more, but I just don't want to.
That was just a warm up.
Take up everybody's, everything.
All right. Okay. So the plaintiff rests. I'm gonna get back to another hockey guy next, but let's go to Mike Hilty and get Hilty's movie expertise, as we all recognize that Hilty has watched more movies than the rest of us combined.
It's a bit of an over-exaggeration, but thanks for that. Appreciate that.
I think it's a true duration.
That's not a word, but okay. No wonder you teach math, so it's all good. So I love this movie. This movie is just harmless fun. That is what the main thing that I take away from this is that it's not gonna win any awards. It's not gonna win any prestige. It obviously does not have fans within the hockey community, because Dan, I agree. This game should have been 25-0, like plain and simple. I appreciated
in the first period.
Probably maybe the first half of the first period.
Yeah.
But I think the fact that Sports Illustrated was interested enough to do a story on this group goes to show just how little Sports Illustrated, cared during this time. Like, really? There's not anything else that Sports Illustrated could have covered in order for this, I don't know. Like, I found that hilarious. But overall, I love the dynamic of the team. They really felt connected. I really like how you have to earn your spot to be on this team. I'm gonna push back a little bit. I thought Burt Reynolds was perfectly fine within his role. You don't want him to overpower literally everybody on, and it's not his movie at the end of the day. He's doing what he can to provide guidance and coaching. He's the old sage that just provides just enough coaching in order to get them by, and encouragement. We get a fun pregame speech from him, but that's about it. That is, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Gene Hackman's role in The Replacements. Don't need to overpower everything too much, but provides enough entertainment and enough guidance to make him a worthy addition to this team.
So let me ask you something about that. You're pretty knowledgeable about sports. You run a sports ball podcast.
Sure.
You're not very good at picking NBA favorite teams, but
I think he's doing just fine.
Nobody's talking to you. Did you notice anything from this coaching role that was any specific thing about hockey at all? Like any actual hockey advice from this coach, other than telling the little kid to keep his elbows up
and pass.
Okay. All
yeah.
right.
He encourages his son to pass, and he eventually does.
All right. Okay.
So,
How
sure.
about teaching them the drill in the corners where they're fighting the sticks? How about the footwork that he had him doing? Yeah.
But he didn't. But that was showing a montage. That wasn't actual like him saying coaching things.
Aaron, are you muted?
Aaron, if you're
Aaron,
trying to
your mic's
talk
not
to
on.
us,
Yeah, he's not muted, but your mic's not working for some reason. I think he just said, "Keep going, Hilty."
That's it. That's about it. But
Aaron,
also, it's also just about the presence behind the
Sure.
bench as well. That helped. I don't know, the character, like the town is interesting enough. I don't think Hank Azaria gets enough credit for being the whipping boy throughout the entire movie. Yeah, I watched this VHS a lot, as willed in a VHS tape is,
You are 2 years older than me. Go fuck yourself.
Plenty of spice in the sauce today.
So, other than that, the only thing that I'll point out is the guy that wrote this is also the creator of Ally McBeal and The Practice. So, kind of interesting that the lawyer aspect of this of those two shows, and he was also a writer on LA Law. So it's kind of interesting how Burt Reynolds' character is a judge, and Pruitt, who I think was his death does feel a little forced because they do foreshadow it a lot with the medication, and he's doesn't feel great throughout the course of the movie, but it doesn't change the fact that it is pretty impactful, even if it is a little tropey at the end of the day when it comes to a sports movie. But yeah, I enjoy this movie a lot. It is probably the best way to put it for me is that it is a guilty pleasure, if anything.
Yeah.
The hockey stuff doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I mean, it's not as egregious as Mighty Ducks hockey, where hey, the flying V is offsides and the triple deke is just passing yourself 3 times. Calm down.
All right.
That's all I got about this. There's nothing really to analyze with this. This one isn't going to, you know, it's not like this is going to end up in the National Archives for, film preservation or anything like that.
Okay, thanks. I think what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna keep track of the themes of what you guys say, and we'll ask Matt next time he's here to guess who it was. So I'm just gonna say the first guy nitpicked the movie apart. The second guy said this is a feel-good movie, and he doesn't mind that at all. He likes this movie. Is that okay? Hilty, have I summed that up pretty good?
Sure. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank
Oh,
you.
don't forget also that I pointed out that Burt Reynolds encourages people to pass.
Okay.
The coaching. He actually did coach a
He
little
did say
bit.
the word pass several times. That's true. Okay, so let's go to Brian. I already know Brian's take on this movie, so I'm looking forward to hearing you deliver. Here we go, Brian. Your thoughts on Mystery Alaska. Oh, let's mic check. It
Yeah.
does.
Did you want to go? I'll concede my time to you.
Hey, that's not up to you, Brian. Matt Smith's running this meeting, and Matt Smith said you talk. Damn it. Go ahead, Brian.
So, Tim and I had a conversation a couple weeks ago about I feel I have the ability. I could disagree with people, but I personally not attack them during that conversation. For having an intelligent conversation.
This is the tough
And
lead in, guys. This is a tough
after
lead in.
thinking that, Dan, you are stupid.
Wow, yeah, that's really personal. Holy shit.
Yeah. Brian just said to me yesterday, Tim, I've been telling you, I'm trying to be a better person. And
So I can't have an opinion without being stupid.
Oh, here we
you're
go.
welcome. You're welcome to have it, and you're welcome to be wrong. I love this movie. Absolutely love this movie, beginning to end. It's funny. I mean, the movie starts with a little kid saying "fuck me." I mean, right there, it's going to be a banger.
Sign of quality.
Think banger is a strong word, but okay.
No, there's an awards, the Banger Awards for movies. It doesn't get televised very often, but the Banger Awards, it's important for the little people.
It's streamed though. It's streamed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, banger word. That sounds right up the alley of movies like The Pounder and things like that.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay.
I feel targeted.
Another show David Kelly did was Boston Legal, who's got one of the greatest TV characters ever, Denny Crane. So shout out to David. Weeks skating the river, just because Dan, again, you've said you've never been to Alaska, so you don't know any of that or any of the traditions of outside hockey.
I've been on a river though before.
And I'm not sure if you play inside hockey either. If you
wait, hey, Dan,
really?
how do you not love this movie?
Let's step on the ice and see, and you'll
the...
see how much I played in inside hockey.
I took this personally.
You ripped on me personally, so
yeah. So
time to rip some slap shots.
With triplets putting foil on their gloves and going out and beating people. I mean, anyway,
you should be more mad at White Boy Matt for not being here to referee this. So let's not attack each other. Come on.
Hilty, you clearly don't understand the workings of this group if you say something like that. Like you've been here several weeks. You should have picked up on that by now.
He's trying.
I thought Russell Crowe did a great job. Sheriff, he's, getting kicked off the team. Yes, a real hockey player would have a bag to throw stuff in, not a box. I agree with you on that, Dan. See, there's an olive branch.
I'm so sad that Matt's not here to hear this. He has really touched on a finer point for us. We may have emotional scars after today.
And to explain how good of a hockey player I was, I would never make it to the rink, leaving the locker room, because skating in that I would land in the snowbank every time. I thought it was funny that there's a helicopter above the city. It looks Russian.
It does not look Russian.
That was not a Russian looking helicopter whatsoever. Hank Azaria, again, kind of touched on it, did a great job as the whipping boy for the episode. Kind of a snake though, because he was really going after Mary McCormick the whole time. He did all this to try and make her like him. The Connor Banks is at the town hall meeting carrying his hockey stick. I thought that was hilarious. This guy's ready to play anytime, I guess. And since the streets are covered in ice, you could go and skate and play anytime he really wanted to. The idea of the women are looked down upon because they don't play hockey. I get it back in 99, 2000 when this came out, that idea, but I don't think it's that part of it holds up. The Bailey Pruitt character, just, first thing Russell Crowe says to him is fat guys don't shovel snow, and then shovels the snow for him. And then, just him with the kids, he was an endeared character to the city. And yeah, did they need to kill him? Did they need to do that? No, but I think it was more of that's the passionate plea that got the game given to them by the judge. That's kind of how I took it. Skank Martin, great character in the movie, and I believe in locker room justice. That I feel that, that may have happened. What said in the locker room stays in the locker room. Jesus. Really important scene showing the judge's character with his son, the relationship. When they're in that town hall meeting, Burt Reynolds stands up and he says, two things we've always had in Mystery Alaska, our dignity. And he looks at Russell Crowe, and then he says our illusions, and looks at his son, and then says that we should hold on to both. I thought that was kind of a powerful scene, just to show the angst between a son and father. And no, a real good movie. Nobody thought they were going to win. Suspension of disbelief, keep it close, whatever, shot at the end. That wasn't the point of the movie. It was the point of just a small town that loved hockey and played it since childhood. And yeah, insanity. The New York Rangers goes and plays there, obviously, but good for Connor and the Weeks boy who got drafted and now are going to play professional hockey. Happy ending.
All right. I agree. I like the Skank character too. A young guy that hasn't really grown up, trying to have sex with every woman he runs into. Reminds me of something, and I can't quite put my finger on it. Let's go to Mike Wilden. Your thoughts on Mystery Alaska?
So I watched this. I don't know where I got this idea, but when I watched this, I was under the impression that it was based on a true story. And so I think part of my thoughts on this movie were like, how based? Because this doesn't seem realistic at all. And then I looked it up later, and it turns out it wasn't. So I guess I don't know how my
Did that change your perception of it when you found that out?
I'd probably have to go back and watch it again, because I will say I was kind of, I don't know, there were points of it that didn't hold my attention as much. I kind of just was like, I was distracted anyways. Like, it was fine. It wasn't bad. It definitely wasn't Winnie the Pooh bad. But then, what is? We set the bar
legendary
pretty
status
low.
right there.
Yeah.
That's legendary status.
That's the bar is down in the basement at that point. So, but yeah, I enjoyed seeing, all the different, kind of big name actors in this. I enjoyed Hank Azaria. I'm a big Simpsons fan, but like, I just enjoy whenever Hank Azaria shows up in something. There were a few points where I just, again, thinking that this was supposedly based on a true story, which of course it's not. At the time, like, when the guy gets acquitted for shooting the other guy, I was like, yeah, there's no way that happened. I did like the way the judge, like, right at the end of that was like, hey, like, you guys all, like, basically should be ashamed of yourselves for this. This was like this,
and they didn't
very
care. They were all
likely.
cheering, clapping
Yeah.
that they got off.
Yeah, they tried to give him money.
But
They tried to give him money.
But a guy
Yeah.
being acquitted for shooting somebody Isn't that more likely to happen than the score of the game being as close as it was?
Oh, that too. I mean, give me a minute. But like, yeah, I don't know. That was goofy. And then the whole like the jury just not knowing how it works. So like we award damages the other way, and just it's like I was glad that the judge was like, hey, that's not how this shit works. Like at least they added that element to it instead of just going with it. Um
I like that when you're bringing up these
yeah.
little things about the movie being inaccurate, Dan keeps smiling.
I I mean it was just a thing that stood out. But yeah, I don't know. It was fine. I don't like I guess I don't have a ton to say about it. I got more into it probably in the second half of the movie, and then I was kind of, I don't want to say relieved. I was happy when the actual game started because there was so much build up to the game. We're gonna play the game,
Yeah.
and will they? Won't they? Are gonna? They're gonna. It's like clearly they're gonna play the game. Can we get to the game? And there were some plot points. I like the relationship between the judge and his son and everything like that. That was a feel good ending with that, um, and Russell Crowe's whole role was, it's Russell Crowe. How do you not like Russell Crowe? But then there were parts of it that I just kind of didn't care. The girl that wanted to have sex with the guy and then they just didn't. And well, obviously the first time there's the premature ejaculation thing. That part was kind of funny, but then it's like they don't really follow up on it. Okay, I take that back. The scene where the mom's talking to her about like I did kind of like that, the little mother-daughter thing, and she's like, I like the line like I promise if you ask again, I'll tell you, and him just getting it.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
enjoyed that.
Any dad would run out of the room at that.
Yep. I'm
Yeah.
not even a dad, and I felt that one. I was like, I'll leave the
Yeah.
room.
Yeah. But like, there were a few moments like that that were, that kind of held it together, but I didn't really get super interested in it until the game. And yeah, now knowing that that wasn't a real thing, it's like, okay, well then it works better because it's not real that the score was that close, because obviously if this team had won, if Mystery had won and that was real, we'd all know about it. We'd all hear of the Mystery Alaska movie, and I would have so clearly they couldn't win. But it was good. I did. I kind of enjoyed the way that they started a slow clap at the end. I was like, are they really doing a slow clap? Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, they're doing it. They're doing that's kind of that was a very cliche
Led by the
movie
coach,
trope,
by
but
the way.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. No, there were parts of this that I just kind of took me out of it, but parts that kind of kept me in it here and there. I don't know. Again, it was fine. That's my. If you're gonna sum this up for Matt later, my take was it was fine.
I've already written that down. So yeah, I'll be the guy to say it, and I'm totally comfortable with you guys disagreeing with this and thinking I'm the bad guy. I hate the slow clap in movies. I've never seen one where I've liked it. I just hate the overdoneness of the one person clapping and the slow clap. Just hate it. Go ahead. Give me what you got.
I thought this one especially was very forced. Like
Right.
when I said I
Most of them
enjoyed
are.
it, I was being sarcastic about it. I kind of was like, really?
Well, Aaron, you're the last one on the list anyway, so keep on rolling. Let's get your thoughts overall on the movie Mystery Alaska, the third hockey player in the group.
I'm not gonna attack Dan, but I did like it. I see, to me, and I was just checking something out to make sure, because to me, and I never looked it up before, and I didn't even pay attention to things like production companies and stuff like that till this group really. So I did notice that it was Hollywood Productions. But to me, this was always a Disney movie with sex and swearing.
Yeah.
And
that's what it feels like for sure.
Looking it up, it is owned by Disney, so it's 100% to me Disney formulaic Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, the Three Musketeers that basically came out around the same time. It's just a feel good movie that you're probably not supposed to look too deep into. You're not looking for, the meaning of hockey or whether they can, turn on both edges or, whatever. I will just slightly push back on Dan for playing hockey on a river. I've done it.
Shit.
You can shovel off on Black River, not too far from my house. You can shovel off a nice flat, piece, and have quite a good hockey game on there. So it can be done, and I'm sure
But
they
I think
maintain
that
theirs.
in the movie, they were making it skate the river like it was more than just a game.
No, I totally understand. Just to go with your smoothness of it, because I don't think their game was on the river. I don't think their rink was even on the river. It might have been on a lake or in probably not a parking lot or something.
It was a pond. I'm pretty sure. I remember.
Yeah. Well, and here's the thing. If I can just jump in for a second on the river debate. So we see the opening credits where the kid is skating the river, and they talk about like skating the river, like it's a big deal. There's no way in hell the river would be plowed. It would have snow over it. So you would be skating over snow, which is possible if it's just a small amount of snow, right? But it's not like it would be cleaned off regularly for that to be a regular activity, right?
I don't know. Like, I think a lot of people are making a lot of assumptions. I've seen several videos this winter of people on just glass lakes between two basically mountains. I don't know where they are, if they're in Colorado or Florida or Finland. But there's not snow to be anywhere anywhere on the ice for miles.
Interesting.
And it's two people with two GoPros just going back and forth, looking down every once in a while. And you can see the cracks in the ice, and that they're 3 feet deep, cracked down. But it's just like glass that they're skating on. So, I think there's a lot of assumptions being made for people who haven't been places, like, I don't know.
Also, Stevie drove the plow so he could plow the river.
Okay. All right. Maybe Stevie plowed the river.
Possible.
Then he plowed Birdie's sister.
No, he didn't.
No, he tried.
He's a premature ejaculator.
Actually, she tried. He's just kind of, well, he's young.
Right. No, but as far as like, this isn't really a hockey movie. It got my interest. Let's be fair. It cost $28 million to make, and it made $8 million at the box office. So,
those are bad numbers.
It totally tanked. There isn't one like real hockey player. Like, I kept thinking, is that guy taking the face off somebody? And it's not. I looked it up. Not one Ranger, played in the game for real.
Yeah, I think they would have given a cameo to if it was a real
right
player.
It would have been more than this little half face shot. It would have been, they would have talked to him, or it was really great meeting you, Mr. Messier, or whatever. I enjoyed like watching it now. I don't know how long it's been since the last time I watched it, but that they all had wood sticks. I actually looked that up. When did graphite sticks or composite sticks become the norm? And it's shortly after this. It's 2004, I think, where composite sticks. There was like 2 years of composite blades, and then they went to full composite sticks. The other thing I looked up was
here's my wood stick. It's stuck in my window as like a security for my window.
I still have a bucket of them out in the garage. I made a couple Adirondack chairs out of old ones. The other thing I looked up was, and there's nothing that directly correlates it, but there is, some weird timing, that the NHL went into a real push of outdoor games 2 years after this movie came out. It would have probably been better if this movie was successful, but that's when and since 2002, there's been one or more, depending on if the Canadian teams have their Heritage Classic and all kinds of stuff. So I
And those
think
have been
it
a
kinda-
huge like fan favorite success too, especially
Oh,
when it
yeah.
snows out. You know, like
Yeah.
Wrigley Field had one, and did they have one at Tiger Stadium
No, they
or
had one.
Comerica?
They had one in Ann Arbor, and then
Yep,
one
they
at
had
Ann
one at the
Arbor,
big
that's
house.
right.
in Comerica.
This
yeah.
year
That's
they
right.
just had one at Ohio State was
Mhm.
the big one. Or one of the
But the one in Ann
that's the whole
Arbor,
thing.
it snowed snowed a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
It was a wings and leaves.
And that's great. I love seeing that. That's a really cool thing to see
Right.
in the middle of a NHL game.
And they're getting so much better at the outdoor ice, and the timing of it and stuff like that, so they don't get weird glares and weird melting
Yeah.
spots and stuff like that. So that's come a long way, and if this had any part of it, I'm all for it. But I like the characters. I like the fact, in my mind, I don't know if it's ever said that, Hank Azaria wrote this article and it got picked up by Sports Illustrated. Not that Sports Illustrated went looking for this story, kind of thing. I think Hank Azaria like brought it to them as not a Sports Illustrated person. I don't know. That's just how in my mind, trying to make some illogical things, just work out so I don't have to think about it. Yeah, it was kind of creepy the way he's still, weirdly pining for Russell Crowe's wife. He couldn't get out of his own creepy way. But even in Brockmire, he's kind of weird. And I don't know if he's as creepy, but he plays a weird dude a lot, I think, Hank is, and I really like him. I think he's a good actor. Good actor.
Brockmire is like the way extreme version of that. And if for anybody out there who hasn't seen Brockmire, check it out. It's great.
He's definitely broken. I don't know if he's creepy though. Like he's more like all on the table, where this guy is kind of like shifty and sneaky and creepy. I don't know. Maybe creepy is not the right word. I didn't realize that besides maybe one Saturday game and a practice, that there's not much hockey at all in the movie until the end.
Right.
And this time it really stuck out. I hadn't noticed that before, and then I think even Wilden brought that up. Somebody had talked about it, how there really wasn't hockey till the end. I was like, yeah, totally right. The other little stuff, none of that bothered me at all. I'm totally fine with a good comedy. I mean, this definitely has to be a comedy. Skank was hilarious.
Yes.
There's all different kinds of, you pick a character that you're looking for and you can find them. Tree is the giant
great.
heart of gold. I loved, and it was all forced, but I thought the acting was really good in the forced scene when Pruitt or Pritchett, who the lawyer, when he did have his heart attack, and he's turning and he's like, my heart's in it. And just the expression on his face as he was turning and going down.
Yeah.
And then for somebody who's played such big, tough characters, and I don't know Tree's actual name. I know he's been in
Kevin Durand.
Kevin Durand.
Marvel stuff and stuff like that. When he hops the boards in the courtroom, just like a hockey player would hop the boards to get on the ice. I thought that was a nice touch. And he's tearing up before he gets to him. And I don't know, it could have been Visine or whatever, but I was like, oh man, I really feel bad for this guy. He's really upset. And we already had that scene where we know he's like a giant pushover. He's an emotional guy. So I don't know, stuff like that. Burt Reynolds played the I don't want to say cookie cutter at all, but played his role of the dick who knows best, pushes his son too hard, but really just wants what's best. He saw what could happen to the town, and he was just trying to protect everybody. Maybe thinks he knows best for too many people and tries to exert his will too much, but I thought his character was great, and he played the role that character was supposed to be. I thought really well. Um, Other than that, loved Russell Crowe in it, loved his wife, kids are funny. Brian was bringing up for years after we saw this, my wife would quote the little boy when the interview lady,
I got a pony shits or something.
I got a toy pony. He takes big shits.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't put a mic in front of a kid's face. Just little stuff like that. But like I said, to me, this whole time it was always a Disney movie with sex and swearing, and that's all it was really gonna be. So I'd still say I love it. I'll watch it when it's on. I'll rent it again if I have to.
Cool. I do like this movie, but I do see all of the issues with it, right? So this movie is what it is, and it's likable for what it is. That's where I land on it. I'm going to pick it apart a little bit, and I'll give you my take on it. Some of it is 1999. Some movies made like this in 1999 on the timeline don't stand up because of the trend in the 90s of making movies. The music's a little overcooked here.
Felt like it was kind of the earlier half of that. Like that almost felt like a splitting point, kind of as far as how movies felt between 90s and then after the 90s kind of thing. And this almost felt like it got in there, but fell back into the more 90s feel. Like I think there are other movies that feel a little more, yeah.
Like
Sorry,
Mike,
go ahead.
No, it's fine. Like for example, Burt Reynolds' character, I think he does a fine job with it, and he's definitely a memorable character in the movie. I wouldn't say it's like an overdone trope character, but it's not that original of a character, right? So this movie kind of sits in that lane. Like there's nothing really about this movie that is so original, and there's nothing about it that's terrible. So that's where this movie sort of sits for me, with that exact thing. I will say I think Russell Crowe's character comes across as too knowledgeable. Like he just knows the right thing to do every time. And that's kind of a trope also. Like the main character who always makes the right decision, does the right thing, and doesn't have a whole lot of even vulnerable moments, really, other than, being mad at his wife for sitting and laughing with her ex-boyfriend, which kind of hard to blame him for that. I mean, I think he goes a little over the top with it, but it's, you kind of understand it. So everything else he does is he's just always right there at the right time doing the right thing, and that's a little overdone for me. For Hank Azaria's character, my phrase for him is that he shoots his shot. With his whole movie, that's him shooting his shot. Like he's trying to get the town to like him. They never liked him. He's trying to get Sports Illustrated to like him. He comes up with this one story that's the only thing he's got in his bag because it's his hometown. And he's trying to get his old girlfriend back, even though she's married. Like that's why he's drunk driving the Zamboni around like an idiot at the end. He's like, I didn't get anything that I was looking for. My life sucks. And so I like his character more than most of them here. I do feel this is my feel on the movie. I really love the idea of the plot of this movie. And then I really don't think they did a great job with any of it. Like it's like the screenplay is not as good as the plot was. And so from scene to scene, it's just kind of it never achieves the potential of this plot idea. Like for example, I love Russell Crowe as an actor in this movie. I just don't think the stuff they gave him was all that good. Like he delivers it as good as anybody can deliver it, and he seems authentic and genuine, but give him something a little better to work with, like the scene where he's given the speech at the cemetery, he does a great job with it. But for me, it's just not all that great. Like nothing in this movie ever ended up being all that great, but you got a lot of talent and you got a good idea. And I feel like they took I'm gonna make a cooking metaphor. They took a lot of really good ingredients for a good recipe and just made it a little bland. And I don't know. That's just my takeaway on it. Mike jumped in and I said the music was a little forced during the game. As soon as there's a momentum switch, the music swells, and then when they lose it, the music dies down. You get a different kind of feel, like just a little overdone there. So I'm going to say it again. I like this movie for exactly what it is. And I like Aaron's take the best. It's Disney with swearing and sex, and like it or hate it. That's what it is. It doesn't offer an apology, and I like it. I'll analyze what's not great about it, but I do like this movie. So there you go. We will confront Matt with the following 6 takes. Nitpicking. It's a feel-good movie. I'll be asking. I'll randomize these, but one guy started with a personal attack, and he loves this movie. That'll be the giveaway. I think Matt ought to get that one right. One person thought it was based on a true story, and then said his end result was it was fine. One person said feels like a Disney movie with sex and swearing, and the last person said really like the plot, but the screenplay isn't as good as the plot. And we'll see if Matt can come up with which guy said which. Be a fun little game for us. And screw him for not showing up the day he picked the movie. Take a lap. I'll tell you one visual thing I did really enjoy. I loved them coming out of the shack locker room and having to skate down that S pattern to get to the pond. Just visually, I thought that was really cool.
It was cool. It was unrealistic, but it was cool.
Correct. But it made for a good shot, though. And you don't see the visitors' locker room where the Rangers have to go off to the side. You know, like you don't even get to see that one. But I thought it was a cool looking shot.
One thing that nobody mentioned, the mayor's wife.
Mhm.
I thought she was really terrible. She's cheating on him, and then when he's out living in the ice fishing shack,
The shanty.
yeah, she comes out there and says, "Well, I cheated because you never touched me." So
That's
she
right.
flips it on him.
She flipped it. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty terrible of her character.
Yeah. And then when the dude shows up, when Skank shows up, she's at the door and she's like, well, this is between you guys. It's really not about me. I'll just go back over here in the living room. You guys talk about whatever you're
her at
talking
all.
about. Right.
Skanks asked to talk to the mayor. He
He
can I
did.
talk to you for minutes? So
True.
she walked away. And then he gave another great line. I play hockey and I fornicate. 2 fun things to do in the cold.
That's good. Brian, since I think you're the biggest fan of this movie, I think that's pretty clear. In that scene, do you feel like Skank was being honorable?
I can't really say that Skank has honor, but
Yeah, that was a setup question, and I was
as
trying to get
close
you
as
caught
he could
in a
get.
trap there.
That's as close as he could get to it.
Yeah. And Hilty, I have to give you an almost apology because when you were talking about Hacksaw Ridge, I think you were actually discussing like that it took 3 weeks to get all those guys down the hill and stuff. I thought you were just making fun of me for not realizing because it says based on a true story. That was a true story. The Brian was making fun of me. I almost muted you, but you finished your sentence too quickly and I couldn't. It would have been a ill-used mute.
I can just randomly start talking and give you a chance to mute if you want.
No, I almost apology because I almost muted you and that would have been an incorrect mute. So, anybody else?
I'll give you plenty of other opportunities in the coming weeks.
Oh,
No
I'm not
worries.
worried about that. There's plenty of time.
See, look at that. I fit right in.
Okay, so let's roll with this for a second. How many of you guys have within like let's say the last round had conversations about movies that we have watched with people outside of the movie group? Like Aaron with his mom.
Time. Yeah.
That's great. Like I'm at work and people at work are asking me, "Hey, what movie are you guys watching?" And then we kind of get into a little conversation about it. It's kind of a fun thing.
I've watched several of these movies with my mom. Like I think the last one a few weeks ago, we did the way back. It was convenient because I was there, helping out and stuff. But yeah, we watched the way back together. We both really liked it.
Yeah, that's cool. I've never been in a conversation outside of this group with somebody and brought up the movie group and not had it be a fun conversation. So that's kind of a cool thing that we got going on here. All right, guys. That'll do it for movie number 184. Did I say 184? And so choosing movie 185 off of Aaron's whiteboard that's not Aaron's whiteboard will be Mike Wilden.
Yeah, I don't think this is only the second movie I've chosen since we started recording these. And so right now, like recording wise, I only have Winnie the Pooh under my belt, don't I?
That is correct, sir.
No, so I, like several people with this category, would like to choose something that I have not seen. It's a movie, there are a lot of movies that like maybe I should have seen but haven't yet. and I've only seen a couple of clips of this one. So this week we're gonna watch Kill Bill.
You've never seen Kill Bill?
Never seen Kill Bill.
Wait. Which
Wow.
one? Which one? Or
I think
are we
it's
just
part one is the one on the list, right?
okay?
Isn't there only two?
There's
Yeah,
only
I was gonna say I don't know how to watch the third one.
there's only two, but there's also the version where Tarantino just says fuck it and combines them both too.
Oh,
It's called The Whole Bloody Affair. It's actually surprisingly brisk.
I think I have heard of that. Have you? So you've seen that, obviously.
You can mute
Mil-
yourself. Like, why would you ask me that?
Hilty seems defensive at this point about. Yeah.
It was on the list. It's your son's list, so you're familiar with what it means. I mean, I'm assuming it means volume 1.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
You wouldn't
so
want to
then
watch
that's
2 without watching 1. I mean, you could,
Yeah.
but you wouldn't want
Right.
to.
Context
Right, but I
would be
didn't, you
a
know,
little tricky.
Yeah.
But he was asking, like, do we have to watch both of them and everything? And I mean, that's actually up to you. But yeah, I think it's just going to be volume 1.
I'll say this: after watching Kill Bill Volume 1, you should watch Volume 2. I mean, you'll watch Volume 1 and go, "Oh yeah, I need to watch Volume 2."
Well, yeah, I'm sure I will. But yeah, that's the movie this week. I'm excited for it.
All right, we'll all get in our pussy wagon and drive. You're welcome.
Mike's the only one that doesn't
Hilty
know what
didn't
that
say
means.
anything, but he gave me a look like I don't even know why I'm in a group with this guy. I can't fucking take him.
No. If of all the references in that one to bestow upon the world, that's a choice. Good for you.
That's how I bestow. It is how I bestow. All right, next week will be Kill Bill. We'll see you guys then. Thanks for listening.
That'll do it for this episode of the BTB Movie Club podcast. Thank you as always for listening. We know we enjoyed ourselves. We hope you did too. Have yourself a great week. We are partnered with the SPDM Crew Podcasting Network.